Alright folks, the 𝘎𝗞𝗽𝘍 70 K, a special tier 10 German light tank. So the rule is, if it's German, it gotta suck, right? It has to. But where the hell do you find this vehicle? It doesn't look like a 𝗎𝗞𝗽𝘍 RU251, doesn't look like a M41 used by West Germany, the Bulldog, or even related to a 𝘎𝗞𝗽𝘍 70, which is the main battle tank 70. It's not the Abrams predecessor, not even close. Also, if you look up the name, you'll find a Lecter Panzer Spielwagen, which is a car. Not exactly a tank, but I'll take your word for it. This vehicle kinda looks like a German copy of a 𝗎𝗫𝘄 75, the recent tier 9 French light tank with the 2-salvo 3-round burst autoloader. It doesn't have that. It has a single shot for the unmanned turret. Doesn't have the rapid mode or the turbo mode, but gets the STB or UDES 1516 hydropneumatic suspension thing, so giving it more gun depression by 7 degrees, but it's a light tank, and on paper the gun looks alright. But let's take a look at the Supertest stats. So penetration is medium tankish for the 105mm, which is good. 360 alpha, which is like the STB, so a little bit better than the 𝘎𝗞𝗽𝘍 at 320, so not half bad. But gold shell is only 30 more millimeters. I mean, if it's a medium tank gun for something of a German design, usually it's a 300mm plus APCR shell, or if it's for something like the Centurions, it's a high explosive anti-tank at about 350 or something, but it's a light tank. And high explosive is high explosive. It's good against EBRs or AMX 13s, but whatever. DPM kinda sucks. It's likely about 2000 baseline, so blah. Aim time is a little bit longer than what I would like. I mean, the 𝘎𝗫𝗽𝘍 has about 1.5 seconds of aim time for the 105, so kinda lacking in that department, but makes up for it in terms of accuracy, 0.3. Pretty good. Also having 10 degrees of gun depression with 7 extra while in the mode, the pseudo siege mode, if you will, but 25 elevation is also pretty good, shooting upwards. Ooh. And only 30 rounds of the 105. Don't spam too much. 3-man crew, like with the Panzerwagen. 70 km/h top speed, 25 reverse, decent. About 40 horsepower per ton ratio, which is pretty good. I mean, it's alright, but still above average. 50 degrees traverse per second, pretty decent. Slower turret traverse, it's alright at 40 when I think about it, but it's an unmanned turret, so have to have some drawbacks, right? 1500 health, it's a light tank, no armor whatsoever, and the view range is crap. It's a light tank, you need to have at least 400. Why 390? That sucks. I mean, the 𝘎𝗫𝗽𝗍 has 420 meters of view range, 10% more almost. Ugh, radio is standard, whatever. Alright, let's take a look at the in-game garage screen. So yeah, looks like the 𝗎𝗫𝗽𝘍 75. I mean, kinda. The turret is more in the back with a better sloping of the frontal armor, but doesn't have the weird autoloader. Doesn't have the turbo mode. It can go into turbo mode, but close enough. I mean, it looks like a Tornvon, smaller. Looks like the 𝗎𝗫𝗽𝗍 75 with the fancier turret design, but yeah. I mean, it's a medium tank, especially with that camo. Oh, come on, guys. Why does the camo suck? Only 16.4. That is average. I mean, that's better than the Sheridan. I mean, that's not saying much. That's not really saying much, but 16 or so is like an Object 140. So it's like a medium tank. A good medium tank, not like a patent patent is like 10 or so, which is crap. So, oh my gosh. I mean, it doesn't have the turbo mode. It has an accurate gun at 0.29 with a 100% crew, but aim time is a little bit longer and DPM is not that great. 2000. You could put a rammer on this thing, but you're a light tank. And light tank duties are pretty hard to carry the team. So you're not a heavy tank, you don't have that much health, you have the mobility, but if you mess up, you're fudged. And especially for your team too. If you're fudged, your whole team is fudged. If you're competing against the opponent light tank. But 390 meters of view range also suck. Come on, guys. I mean, we're fitting the meme. You don't have to fit the meme. It's German, I know. Just don't make it too bad. It's kind of bad though. You're focusing on the gun, which is not the point of light tanks. Whatever. Shell velocity is alright for standard, and gold shell. High explosive is alright too, but gold shell could use more pen. But then again, it's a light tank, so shoot the sides or rear of vehicles. Okay. 105mm, nothing crazy. It's a placeholder stat thing, so it's not a premium. Don't even think about it. It's like with the main battle tank B Supertest leak. So this is a placeholder. It's not a premium. Don't get worked up or excited. But nothing really stands out as super good for light tanks other than the gun. But light tanks don't usually focus on the guns unless you have an autoloader or even a derp gun, I guess, but they nerf high explosives. So yeah, T49s and Sheridan's feels bad, man. Feels real bad, but nothing really out of the ordinary, especially for the camo. Well, let's talk equipment before we get into other stuff, but let's compare with the 𝘎𝘞𝘲𝘗𝑒𝑟𝑒𝑚𝑡𝑎𝑙 Panzerwagen. So 𝘎𝘎𝘞𝘲𝑃anzerwagen has worse accuracy, but better aim time. Less penetration and less alpha, but better DPM. So a few trade-offs here and there. Doesn't have the gun depression with the track hydropneumatic suspension thing, but armor is practically the same. Has a little bit more health to work with. Has 44 horsepower per ton ratio, so a little bit better. And better top speed too. Better traverse too. And worse camo, but better view range. It's also a 3-man crew as well, but I mean, it feels practically the same with some give and takes here and there. Ugh, it just doesn't feel good. How much does it weigh? About the same too, about 25 tons or so. Alright, but let's talk equipment. So basically, likely optics. You have to choose optics or commander view range, vision thing. This thing is actually pretty OP if you put it into the first slot, because that basically cancels out some of the more stealthier light tanks like the AMX-13s or even the Manticore. So I would recommend this for the first slot. Second slot, if you want to focus on the gun, you could go with a rammer, but I don't feel light tanks with rammers are likely justified. You're spotting for your team. A light tank's job is to spot for your team. If you're not, you're being outplayed by the opponent's light tank. So that's a major downside to your vehicle. You have to utilize the fact that you're keeping your camo while moving. So that's a little bit better than medium tanks spotting for your team, unless the medium tank have armor, but you're just negating your advantage and playing into your opponent's hand if you're playing like a medium tank, right? If you're being more skittish. But this vehicle doesn't have the camo though, so that's not saying much. I would still recommend something of an optics and maybe a turbocharger. You could play a little bit more passively and put something of a low exhaust, no noise exhaust, better increasing your camo, but this will be a little bit more passive of a playstyle. So you have to be more skittish, don't go super quick and die and then put your team at a disadvantage. So you could choose turbocharger, but I don't think you need more horsepower per ton ratio, don't really. So I would recommend something like this. But yeah, these 3 equipments are so good for spotting. Otherwise, you want to improve the gun, but I feel that's a red herring, that's a bait. Don't do that. Your gun is okay for picking off targets with low health, but I don't think you should spec into firepower, not really. So kind of a weird choice focusing on guns. I mean, if this thing has an autoloader, fine, you can focus on the guns. Or if this thing has a good shell, like with high explosive anti-tank or high explosive squash head, maybe you focus on the gun, but not really. You don't have the DPM to do so. Alright, enough about equipments. Let's talk field modifications, which is also difficult for light tanks, but choosing between top speed or engine power. Now, this has been long debated. Top speed is always good for open field maps. Engine power is good for city maps. You can turn corners a lot faster or dodge shells a lot faster, but I feel better top speed is somewhat slightly better than engine power when you already have enough horsepower per ton ratio at about 40. So this one is up to you which one you feel is more comfortable to play with, but second one is reload time or aim circle size. Now this thing already has pretty good accuracy, so might as well go with more DPM. The DPM increase is not that dramatic. It only buffs like 70? It's not even 70 on the 𝘎𝘠𝘗𝘮. It's like what? Oh my word. It's like about 70 from 180 to 250. Ugh. Yeah, would you like 70 more DPM? Or would you like about 0.02 accuracy? Definitely more accuracy. Holy crap, DPM boost is suck. Might as well get better accuracy. Holy crap. You'll go down to like 0.27 or so. Yeah, better accuracy. DPM buff is not that dramatic. Or nerf is not that dramatic. Not really. Third one is protection from artillery shells. That means you already got spotted. So, or getting shot at by actual guns. Or better reverse top speed. If you're feeling brave, you could go with better protection for the crew. That's not giving you health though. That's not giving you health. If you're being shot at, if you already took the hit, the rest of the stuff doesn't matter too much, like stun duration. Or if your crew is already injured, you're already losing health. So, I would say better reverse speed. Yeah, better reverse speed, getting out of situations a little bit faster. That's a little bit better, right? Alright. Next one is view range or concealment. Oh my gosh, so many choices. That's super hard. Jesus. This thing doesn't have view range like the 𝘎𝘠𝘗𝘮, so you cannot put better view range at the cost of camo. Or better camo at the cost of view range. The cut is about 8 meters, but you're getting about 2% more camouflage rating. Otherwise, you're negating by 2% for 8 more meters of view range. Oh my gosh. If you're already going with optics as one of the equipments, then I would say better camo. It doesn't have that good of a camo anyways. Yeah, camo of 16.5-ish is not that good. Baseline. So I would say better camo. Utilize your shells a little bit better, so you can poke around a bush or hillside and dump one shell if you're lucky and run away, but I would say better camo. This is also a toss-up. Alright, finally we have concealment of vehicles behind bushes or foliage or movement or enemy vehicle movement. Now, I think the moving vehicle camo negation is only good for countering light tanks. Other vehicles moving camo are not that good. So you're basically turning like 1% or like turning like 5% camo while moving to like 4%. It's not that dramatic. Whereas if you're countering light tanks, the foliage thing is dramatically better. Also, the foliage applies to tank destroyers, applies to medium tank camping in the back, or sometimes artillery too, so foliage applies to everybody, whereas moving stuff mostly apply to countering light tanks. So yeah, I think applying to everything is better than specifically designing to counter light tanks. That's just my opinion, but yeah, so hard of a choice. But how much would I rate this vehicle? Jesus, it doesn't look that appealing, and it's still following the rule of German vehicles suck. Why? I would say, oh my god, view range suck, camo suck, accuracy is good, but DPM suck, aim time suck, gold shell is better than the average, surprisingly, and standard shell is also better than the average, surprisingly, but you have to use the gun, which is not the light tank's purpose. Playing light tanks, I think, is the hardest vehicle class in World of Tanks. You have so much dependent on you, and there's no other light tanks. Well, there could be, but there's only like at most 2 other light tanks, and sometimes they follow you for some reason. Spread out, scout in different directions. Nope, they go off in the same freaking direction. The freaking super tilting to play with a bad light tank player, or super tilting to play with a bad team when you're playing a light tank. It is a very hard class to play with. If your team suck, you're not going to have fun. If your whole light tank suck, your other vehicles are not going to have fun. Nobody has fun. I would say likely a 4.5 out of 10, maybe a 4. Yeah, maybe, yeah, I'm going with a 4 out of 5. 4 out of 5. 4 out of 10. Oh, yeah, 4 out of 10. It's there's nothing really spectacular. If this vehicle has like 22 or 20 camouflage rating, definitely a lot better, like with the Manticore or something. But yeah, the 16.5 camouflage rating is not the greatest. I have Cruise, that doesn't count. So 20 is the Manticore, that's the best. AMX 13 is about 18, I believe. I have the Crew, so it's negated. Yeah, the Crew doesn't matter. It's about the same as the WZ132-1. So you're more focused on the gun. I don't like that aspect about light tanks, and especially with lower view range. 4 out of 10. Definitely 4 out of 10. Well, there you go, folks. The 𝘎𝘞𝘀_70 K. Disappointing. Disappointed! Well, it's German. What the hell do you expect? But let me know if you actually like this vehicle. It will be super funny. It will be supremely good if they're going to do the same scenario with the British tier 10s. And what I mean is they're replacing the 𝘎𝘞𝘀 with this vehicle. And what happened was, when you own the original FE4202 or the FE215Bs, the one with the 183 and the normal one, you will get the replacement vehicle and keeping the old vehicle as well. So you already kept the original FE4202 as a premium, you kept the FE215B as a legacy vehicle, quote unquote, with the new Badger and the new Super Conqueror, but it's been a long time since we did that, replacing a whole new vehicle with an old one. So that would be funny. If you already have a 𝘎𝘞𝘀, they'll replace it with the LKpz.70 K. That would be nice. You keeping 2 tier 10 for the price of 1. Though the 2 tier 10s are not that good. Not really. Well, 4 out of 10. But as always, thank you guys for watching this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.